Hello everybody to the weekly ESPL series, this time into the semifinals. Once again, another best of one, but it's a necessary evil if we want to get through these games all day and every Sunday, which I believe is when we play. But nonetheless, I am Briefcase, bringing you this weekly ESPL series along with my lovely, handsome co-caster Mito.
Hi guys.
That's right, and indeed, if this happens to be the first time you're tuning in, or you just happen to miss the other games, or you were looking at Star Ladder, which is doing very well right now, this is, of course, ESPL. We're going to be hosting weekly series every Sunday, Saturday and Sunday, just casting on Sundays, however. It's going to be, what, a $5,000 max prize pool near the end after 3 months or so, and the way you get into that one, and you can get to play with Sigma or Speed Gaming, is you play every single week for league points, and there's a certain way they're shed out. After you win your first game, I think you start hitting them up, and whoever has the most after 3 months gets to play with Speed Gaming and Sigma, and for a chance to win 5,000 plus more money as soon as we have a ticket, and as soon as we start getting revenue from that'll gonna be going to the prize pool as well. So some pretty cool tournaments coming up, I hope to say, and let's get into this draft, Mito.
Yeah, just looking at those heroes. First, like Timbersaw, powerful hero, and you get Lich and Slug as a response. Yeah, Slug, man, that hero has been the story of the month, I suppose. I mean, it's seen a lot more play than what it used to ever since the ultimate change. Because when you pop the ulti form, there's simply nothing to shut you down. But yeah, Doom, that's a hero we've been seeing a lot more play since like D2L. The Chinese teams have been really favoring this hero. Yeah, but of course, from all the tournaments as well, Team Empire loves to run Doom. But yeah, I'm glad to see this hero being picked up from Decerto Ozone. I've actually seen some of the games from before, and this is like completely different from what they had from the previous games. Well, at least from the game I saw, it's a complete different strat. That game, they opted to get heroes like Chen and Tinker, and it was kind of a pushing as well as a great defensive lineup. And in this instance, they picked up two very tank heroes, Timbersaw and Doom, and it feels like they both have a lot of potential to pick off heroes, as well as tank for their team.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And of course Doom, if he does get that Shadow Blade, which we've seen Dooms get in the past and in other games, he's actually a pretty formidable opponent for Slark. I mean, if he can get the Doom off, Slark is basically screwed, obviously, as soon, because I think Doom would even stop his Shadow Dance passive from working. It should, and it must. So I mean, if you can get that Doom off on a Slark, it's going to be really difficult for Slark to actually have too much game, or really have that much game presence.
Yeah, and now Decerto Ozone, they're already removing some of the best counters to Doom, like Abaddon, where you can shield your teammate and put on the heal, and they have such short cooldowns. So yeah, I'm loving this ban. Perhaps maybe they want to ban out Chen. If not, they're probably gonna pick it up. Yeah, but then once again, Chen doesn't. I don't see it fitting into Division Game Club. Some of the most common setups for Slug right now is Bane Elemental, which we see did a lot of work in the other game between WWT and Denial Esports.
Oh yeah, just tremendous. I mean, the Gyrocopter couldn't do anything every single fight, and then as soon as that Bane had a BKB, job done. And I guess the same thing could be said against a Slark if need be. Sometimes they pick up a BKB just to make sure they can live through the fights, not get stunned out when their ult finally does go down. But I mean, if a Bane does get picked up, it's going to be a terrific counter to Slark.
5 seconds remaining.
Yep, and now I'm just trying to think what Division Game Club is thinking about banning. When you look at Doom and you look at Timbersaw, what kind of hero comes to mind? I'm thinking about a hero with multiple disables, and lockdowns that can deal with heroes like Slug. Maybe they want to pick up a. Maybe they want to ban the OD or ban TA so they can pick up a puck to combo with the Lich. They have plenty of options right now. Both teams that draft have a lot of choices as to what they want to do with the heroes. Slug can go off lane, Lich can go off lane, Slug can be played mid or as a carry, Lich can be even though we don't see it anymore, but it can be a dual lane mid, or you can even solo mid, and it's always great as a support, just constantly sacrificing creeps and pulling the creep wave back to your comfort zone.
Oh yeah, and I mean, it looks like Division Gaming Club, they're not even sure who to ban right now, and as well as maybe not sure who to pick up as well. Whew, sorry about that, words getting caught in my mouth, but they do pick up a Crystal Maiden, gonna be making some Slark bounces pretty easy for them, but right now, I mean, yeah, Lich has Chain Frost, that's gonna come online quite nicely and do quite a bit of damage, but if pretty much anybody on Decerto right now, I feel, if they happen to get a pipe at any time in this game, I mean, Crystal Maiden and Lich are just going to fall right off, and Doom and Timbersaw, already heroes that are really difficult to kill. I feel like you need something like a Life Stealer where you can use that huge HP pool against them.
Yeah, I want to look for a little bit more initiation there. Preferably supports with initiation power would be great. Something like a, I don't know, Vengeful Spirit, or even a, oh wow, this is actually, or even a long range Earthshaker, just something to set up so that when Timbersaw can get in range and do the job. But I'm just gonna be really lame here and say, hey, look, it's an icy draft versus a fiery draft.
Oh my, it's not great. But if we do see Alina, I will concede that point to you, but we don't. We have a Venomancer, and that's some level of initiation. At the very least, it'll let Doom get into range, and actually a Krav being picked up by Division Game Club right now, and I kind of like that pickup. I mean, if they do get any amount of negative armor, Doom and Timbersaw might be having a harder time against those ghosts. Do the ghosts actually proc reactive armor?
It's physical damage, so I think it does. Wait,
it's like,
is it physical damage?
Yeah, the exorcism is physical damage, most definitely. But I don't know if it acts like a normal auto attack or if it's just like a physical spell, which doesn't proc reactive armor either. I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Real quick.
I guess we'll see in game. But nonetheless, a Venomancer has been picked up for Decerto, Ozone, and I mean that's going to give them the slow that they need. They really don't have much lockdown in their bag, however, and against something like a Death Prophet and a Slark, where if they can get out of a fight, they're going to be basically back up to full by the next kind of wave, the next rung, and still, Decerto Ozone going for pretty much mass damage rather than actual stun locking or any crowd control, and I mean, against something like a Slark or Death Prophet, that might be really hard for them to actually find kills against those two main heroes.
10 seconds remaining.
So I'm just reading the description for reactive armor. Attacks from heroes, creeps, and towers triggers this ability.
So I mean,
does that count as an attack?
I don't know. Are
spirits flying all over here?
Ghosts technically hero attacks, or are they going to be creep attacks? My bet is that they don't proc it.
Are you up for one rare?
One rare? I am. Yes, I will trade you. I'll give you one rare.
Yeah, and no more of those chests, right?
No, come on. I get the option. We will see. We will see what you get.
Okay. Alright.
If you
so you already think I'm gonna win?
No, but maybe.
But on a more on a slightly more serious note, I'm just looking at the Decerto game Ozone's lineup. They have no lockdown. There's no hero that's capable of stunning at all, except for maybe if Doom picks up a Centaur. In that case, the Doom probably needs a Blink Dagger or a Shadow Blade. You utilize the Centaur Stomp.
Oh yeah, they just have no way to.
How greedy do you think they're gonna go?
They must be going incredibly
be
greedy because they don't have a tremendously strong lineup for actually finding pickoffs, and like I said, they don't, and like you said as well, they don't have any crowd control really either. They're just relying on basically pure damage. Chen, of course, will give them a nice bit of utility there for their troubles, but nonetheless, let's get into who is actually playing who. So over on DGC right now, we're going to have Phoenix playing as the Lich, Perez Dota going to be playing this Crystal Maiden, Shad as the Viper, Alleg going to be this Death Prophet, and it looks like we're going to have Crystal Cross playing the Slark here. Mito, would you like to take Decerto?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm just looking at the mid Doom played by Nyx. It reminds me a little bit of my Doom as well. I mean, it's just so pimped out. And we have the stand-in Leshrac for the win, playing on the support Venomancer. At top, it looks like we're gonna have an off-lane Lifestealer, apparently. Or is it gonna be... Oh, he's gonna be part of the tri-lane. So it's gonna be aggressive 2.5 at top. And we have Amazing playing on the support Chen. And finally, we have the bottom solo, Jacob, playing as a Timbersaw.
30 seconds.
And I mean, what do you think of these lanes right now? The 2.5 in the top, I think, is going to be very interesting to see. Of course, Viper, though, pretty difficult to actually take down. They do have a lot of slows, but as soon as he gets that corrosive skin, I mean, Hota going to be having a very slow time indeed. Not to mention, trying to actually fight into Crystal Maiden's constant Crystal Novas and Frostbites can be very scary to deal with. And how do you think Slark and Lich are going to fare on this bot lane? Lots of sacrifice is going to go their way. Obviously, I think Slark's going to be able to get quite a bit of farm early on. But do you think Timbersaw is going to be able to hold up against it fairly well? Can you Timber Chain out of Pounce's leash?
I have no idea. Like, these heroes are considered a bit new to me. I've never really had those matchups, so I'm not too sure. But I don't think this was their game plan. I mean, looking at the wards where they placed them, it's safe to say that they were expecting to go against a tri-lane, to be honest. And just look at how defensive they're playing as well. I mean, now they've ran into the lane, like realizing that, hey, it's a Timbersaw here. But this definitely wasn't the game plan. But yeah, Crystal Maiden is just going to go into jungle and start farming up, leaving Viper up against Lifestealer as well as Venomancer, which isn't really that bad.
Oh yeah, not the end of the world. And it looks like they did maybe see that, perhaps it was their own ping, but nonetheless, a smoke going down. Chen has got that early little Centaur now, and Shad actually in a very tough spot. Looks like they do see him. Leshrac for the win going in. Hota getting that early wounds, and it looks like Shad definitely going to fall here. Centaur Stomp to guarantee it. And with that, there's the first blood going the way of Decerto.
It was really unlucky for Shad, because if that wasn't a Centaur, he would have been able to get out. He went to the secret shop, bought up a TP. He was ready to get out until like he realized, hey, there's no opportunity for me to TP because it's a Centaur. The moment I TP, he's just gonna come in and stun me. So instead, he's gonna be using that TP to get back to the lane. And I just want to say, I don't know if you saw the Doom, but he got to pull 4 tangos.
Perez Dota actually getting a little bit of a tough spot. That Frostbite going to do a lot of work to this Centaur, but looks like Amazing trying to finish him off. Does have Test of Faith, so there is always that slight chance if he gets the nice amount of RNG, but nonetheless, the Centaur are going to continue to live and just getting, just zoning out this Crystal Maiden, and that's going to put her pretty far back. Just look how slow she is.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting a pretty even trade, I suppose. Even though they're not doing so well for the Viper in the top lane, Slug is getting the free farm. I guess it's not so bad for them if they get the Slug to level 6 and have him start making the rotations, buying more time for the Viper to catch up. And Slug is a snowball hero. If he does get going, it's going to be really scary, and it'll force the Decerto Gaming to play slightly more grouped up.
Very true indeed. I mean, I think that's almost how they want to play coming up now, and this Doom mid actually doing fairly nicely against this Death Prophet. Has 11 last hits, doing A-okay, and now actually looks like Leshrac for the win, and Amazing trying to find Perez Dota hanging out, seeing if they can't catch him out, and Perez does scout him out. No Gale being able to throw him down, can't get the slow off, and with that, it just looks like Perez getting completely zoned out, but I mean, you're basically trading 2 supports getting farm for just a Crystal Maiden. It's not really the end of the world, but still, not a great feeling to be this Crystal Maiden right now.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the hero cosmetics. There's a lot of really nice sets in the game. Corvallis, you see Chen, wow. Both teams are pretty pimped out.
And now it looks like realizing that 2.5 lane up top is proven to be pretty difficult for Crystal Maiden to handle just alone. They do rotate a Phoenix up there, and they're not sure where everybody is, and they need to be very careful. At the very least, a leg needs to be very careful. They have a Centaur available, they have a Gale, and there is absolutely no vision going down for this Dire team, and they just need to pounce, really. A leg not quite level 6 yet. They're not going to be going into any exorcism madness, and now it looks like they have trying to sprung the trap. Looks like a leg very slow on the uptake, almost didn't see it forever, and it's going to fall guaranteed here. Nothing they can do, the Centaur, to guarantee that as well. So right now, Decerto doing very nicely with these small little pickoffs, these little ganks, and I mean, that's kind of what you want. You want to at least limit the space that the Slark will have. He's still been doing A-okay, but I mean, he's the only one. Everybody else getting zoned out pretty nicely. Shad finally trying to get a few last hits now as well.
Yeah, that was a beautifully calculated gank. They waited right when it became nighttime, the 4-minute mark, and then moved right in. That's when Corvulus lost that big AoE vision. But yeah, I loved it. It was an awesome gank.
Oh yeah, just beautiful. And now it looks like Hota actually going bot, trying to go tit for tat against Crystal Cross. Of course, Essence Shift, really a pain in the ass for any hero with strength as a main stat. Really can limit exactly how much HP you have, and just
oh my god,
can just destroy you.
Did you see that?
No, what happened? I know they're trying to set up
I think
a gank on Crystal Cross.
That was
but
a sick setup. Doom, like I think he was aware of the ward, and he just walks right past it, and then so Slug was backing out, and then he pops the illusion room and runs the illusion back at mid, and then Slug went back to where he was in his comfort zone.
It looks like Crystal
Too
Cross
bad Doom didn't take the opportunity to go in.
just trying to get the pounce off, and all of Decerto now down here. Looks like if they can't get a Slark, they might as well get a tower, and that is indeed how they're going to try and play this. And with no level 6s coming out of these supports, no Lich ult, no Crystal Maiden ult, not even a Slark ult available right now. This is going to be pretty much a free tower for them, and they have to be liking that. You also have Shad doing A-okay on the top lane, finally getting a little bit of farm, and a leg doing not too badly in the mid as well. So, going to be picking up a tower. Can they get the deny? Venomancer actually able to get it with these annoying Plague Wards of his, but so yeah, DGC just not quite able to get the deny there.
But that was some really sick mind games from Doom.
And now it looks like Decerto Nyx doing fine, just fine in this mid lane. Actually, not quite leading, but has way more denies than Aleg. And looks like Exorcism was used, didn't even catch it, didn't look like it did too much. And now I feel like the supports out of DGC really need to start finding a little more use for themselves. They've just been hanging around Slark for a little while right now, just trying to protect him, but he's one of those heroes who doesn't really need that much protecting, especially with this ward down now. All he has to be afraid of is maybe a smoke gank, and even then, as long as he doesn't get doomed, he should be doing fine. So I mean, I just feel like Perez and Phoenix need to be finding a little bit more utility, need to be helping get a few pickoffs right now.
Yeah, I love how Decerto, they're understanding the heroes perfectly. They realize, hey, we don't have any great lockdowns. We need to do something around the map. And they get a couple of pickoffs, and then they manage to take a tier 1 tower. They have great heroes for pushing, and I believe that that's something they should abuse against DGC. Because the heroes do need bit of items and some levels to come online.
Oh yeah, and it looks like they're trying to give Venomancer a little bit of some experience now, get those Plague Wards up, and really get the ability to push just that much higher for every level in Plague Wards. It does get quite substantial just with the HP increases, being able to tank those tower hits if need be. But I mean, Crystal Cross, this Slark, we've mentioned this before, he is a snowball hero. He's not really finding any kills, but he's getting all the farm he could ever want, actually leading the chart, or at the very least tied for 4 with 4 different people right now. 4 last hits, so I mean, still a lot of farm going his way, and Decerto, pretty much the only gold lead I see they have is mostly from those 2 ganks I feel right now, and actually DGC getting a little bit more experience out of the map simply because they've been staying in lane the whole time.
Yep, I'm just looking at all the rotations from DGC and the supports. It feels like you said,
now, Nyx really
it feels
far
like they
forward,
need to
getting
make things
Crystal
happen.
Nova. There's the Crypt Swarm as well. Looks like Amazing here to try and protect him. And Nyx Assassin does get a Doom off on Crystal Cross, but now looks like Amazing going to be falling as well. In runs Jacob right now, trying to finish off the Slark. It looks like he will be able to get him, along with Leshrac for the win. And that Exorcism doing a lot of work. Hoda almost falling to the Crypt Swarm, but some beautiful little micro. Looks like we have a little bit of ensnare being thrown down as well. So, I mean, 2 for 1 for Decerto. I thought it was going, or no, it's 2 for 2. But still, though, I guess a fairly even trade.
Well, I would say it still favors Decerto, because after the trade, now they're getting their push online, and unless, wow, that's a lot of TPs coming out from DGC.
And a Chain Frost now.
Say, unless they can.
Only lands on 1 isn't enough, and Nyx, though, just does not have the HP pool to get through this Crystal Cross. Does he have a pounce? Not quite available. It looks like Nyx actually fell. And now looks like Amazing going to be falling as well. While that's happening, Venomancer up here getting caught out in his own right, and Jacob just doing fine, being able to protect it. Shad now barely able to make it out of there alive. Still has some poison on him, but nonetheless, it looks like DGC answering that little push with a little bit of a counter push and some nice pickoffs of their own.
Something I've always been thinking about is, if you're Lifestealer, I just think that getting a Hand of Midas on Lifestealer is a great choice, because if you're going to be constantly fighting, your main spells during the early game phase is going to be your ultimate, right? You're going to use that Infest to jump in the fight, deal out the damage. And if that's the case, just the fact that you're joining fights, if you don't win it convincingly, then you're losing out time and space to farm. Whereas if you're going to be free farming anyways, then Hands of Midas, it just allows you to pull even further ahead. So, like, to me, Hands of Midas, sure, it's still an option, right? But I've always felt it's a great item on Lifestealer, regardless of whether you are going to fight or not. But, of course, this is highly my personal preference. And by no means am I saying that's the correct build.
Oh no, and now with Chen having all the creeps in the world, little skeletons storming in as well, this is going to be one dead mid tier 1, at least coming up, and it looks like Phoenix does not quite have Chain Frost available. That's Shackman doing a lot of work in Pop's Crystal Cross. Pops his ult actually immediately as well. They're just trying to deter this Exorcism now, but there aren't enough really to take down 5 heroes, and now Alec, incredibly far forward, realizes that the rest of his team is not with him. Those Plague Wards just poisoning everybody ever so slightly, and that has got to be annoying, but Decerto getting an easy tower for their troubles.
I was about to eat my words about saying Decerto not having stuns when they had 2 Centaurs, but then, yeah, they just kind of disappeared with that fight. But yeah, that was some nice body blocks with the Centaur as well. Viper couldn't really get in front and slow down the heroes for his teammate to dish out even more damage, because those 2 Centaurs were just right in front of him and just using their big butts to block him completely.
And now it looks like Decerto continuing up these pushes. I mean, they don't have a mech, I don't believe. Haven't looked at the items in a little while, but they don't have a mech. Chen is always here, not quite level 6 yet, but it seems like they just want to continue pushing this up. They realize Slark is out and about, and he actually hasn't TP'd in yet. Big silence on 2, not going to be enough, however. Crystal Cross going to need to be able to get a pounce. Nyx Assassin does indeed become the target. There's the Chain Frost. But he gets sent home, so he's doing A-okay. Crystal Cross now melting. J-Knob coming back in, and it looks like he is melting as well. All the spell damage doing a lot of work. Now the Crystal Maiden ult being used as well. Leshrac for the win. Still chasing, running away, and it looks like DGC coming out way ahead in that fight.
Wow, that was impressive. But just now, I was looking at the chat. I was hoping our viewers can tell us whether Corbelus's ultimate Exorcism does it work on reactive armor. And I thought we had the answer when I was reading these stuff saying that something about 18 HP per hit or something. But I looked, nah, they were just discussing about Essence Shift.
I see. Well, I mean, it says spirit damage 55 per, and I mean, is that a hit? I don't know. It says spirit damage isn't reduced by damage block, so I mean, it's not like a normal hit then. So I might be taking that rare from you. We'll see how it goes.
But that's not really a damage block, is it?
No, it's not. But
when you get hit, you gain
know.
armor.
We'll see if we can actually scout it out. I'll be looking at Timbersaw's profile whenever I see an Exorcism come up now. And actually, you do the same, because I gotta do some play-by-play. You check it out. You tell me. You see if it happens. Don't lie.
All right, but I gotta see Exorcism first, and like they can't all be hitting Timbersaw, because if that happens, I
I
won't be able
know.
to tell.
I know, that's the biggest issue, I think. And I mean, it looks like DGC just getting an easy little tower on the bot lane, and everybody getting to space out, and now there's just time to farm for pretty much everybody. Neither team really wanting to go in, and understandably as well, Decerto realizing that they don't really have the sustain they need, or at the very least, the mech they really want to keep those pushes going, and still able to pick off some nice towers, obviously, with these Chen creeps every single day. But I mean, they kind of want a mech. They probably wanted Chen to be level 6 for that last mid push where things just started to fall apart, and it looks like they're just a-okay to farm up and try and get those next kind of items to help them push and let Lifestealer get his armlet as well.
Yep. I love what both teams are doing. One of the signs for me, like, that I recognize when I'm looking at a good team is you never give anything away for free. So as soon as DGC started pushing bottom, Decerto started reacting at top,
Now
using the
Hota
Venomancer illusion to block.
needs to be very careful here. Does pop his rage and get out of there indeed. Exorcism being used as well, but I mean, a failed smoke anchor, at the very least, a very costly one coming out of DGC there. Couldn't quite get him in time, couldn't burst him down, and of course they don't really have a way right now to deal with Lifestealer popping his rage and just TPing out of there. So a smoke gank and 5 rotate to stop that Lifestealer, all while the rest of Decerto just farming up, trying to get those items. And I mean, Timbersaw, he's getting, I don't want to say close, but he's getting there a little bit. And now, like you were saying, Decerto just giving nothing up for free right now. They might lose this top tier 1, but they just stream into the mid lane and guarantee the tier 2. They could even defend the top if they want to. Exorcism is, of course, not available right now.
Yep, well, if they can keep up the push, then it's not so bad, but right now we have to Doom the Shadow Blade, and he has an Infest. So I think we are gonna see a pretty big engagement. Since, oh no, DGC, they just all TP'd out on time. So yeah, it seems like they're the ones who want to engage at bottom as well, but both teams just TPing out at the same time. It feels like they're trying to play Rat Dota against like the other team.
Yeah, I was gonna say Groundhog Dota, what was just popping in and out, but
Groundhog, yeah.
yeah, a little Groundhog, you know, like I'm over here. Oh no, wait, I'm over here and you missed me and what have you. But I mean, Slark is loving this. He's gotta be. All he's doing is getting to free farm all day long. Not really snowballing so much, seeing as how he's not finding kills right now. But I mean, still doing a-okay. And with this Decerto, with all these heroes up here, as well as the creep wave pushing in. And they know Slark is downtown as well. Doesn't actually have a TP, so he's gonna not be in this fight right now. It looks like Decerto could very well take this tier 2 and really have a lot more map control under their belt. Shad now gets ensnared, no follow-up, however. And it looks like Shad just trying his very best. There's the Viper Strike, but it looks like Hota simply gets out of there, and all they do is pop it. But there's the mini stun, and instead he doesn't quite get out of there. Doesn't matter. Gets sent back by Chen. So just trying to force all of the big skills out. Crystal Cross all over Nyx's butt right now, and it looks like Nyx can't do anything. No Doom available, but Hand of God being used, and that's gonna be able to actually save him. Shadow Blade as well, so getting very close to dead there. But Crystal Cross just not having quite enough damage. Did get a nice 10 Essence Shift stacks there for himself, but I mean, just couldn't polish him off, and with the help of Chen, nothing happening there, but they do get at least this mid-tier 1 for their troubles.
Yeah, that was a great collaborated effort between Venomancer and Chen to save, oh, and that's a good deny as well. But yeah, Doom, he kept on using his bottle to try to get enough mana to use Shadow Blade, but then because of the pounce, it took away his stats, so he never had the mana for it. He was always like a few mana short, like he was always around 50 mana short. And Venomancer just walked over, clicked on the Arcane Boots, and he had enough, and he pops his Shadow Blade, gets away safely.
So nice little team effort there, of course, by Decerto, making sure that their tanky little Doom doesn't fall to the tiny Slark there. And I mean, Doom, he's picked up this Shadow Blade, and like we saw earlier at the top lane, he has that Shadow Blade, and Fest Bombs are now a very real possibility. But he really does need to make something happen with it. And if I feel like DGC now starting to group up much more as soon as they saw that Shadow Blade. They're kind of always within arm's reach, within earshot of each other right now, trying to make sure that Nyx this Doom doesn't get some sort of you know, nice little doomy kind of kill onto this Slark, and just trying to make sure that he's always at least a little bit safe. And we'll see how this goes.
They've just...
Shadow Blade's up, finds Crystal Cross. Is he going to get the Doom off? And this is exactly what I was talking about. Has a little bit, but it looks like actually Doom does not stop Essence Shift from happening. A little bit of information there for everybody. Crystal Cross will fall here, and that's exactly what DGC was hoping didn't happen when this Doom had the Shadow Blade.
Yeah. Well, I like the wards in the jungle. The DGC wards in their own jungle. Earlier in the previous tier 2 push, the observer there and there was a sentry there as well, allowed them to scout out the Doom was coming in. That's why there were no casualties. And at bottom, once again, they're using this technique to send Knights back home. But it looks like Chen will have to fall.
Oh yeah, just can't get out of there. Now, with this Death Prophet having an Earl's Scepter, is moving at 462 move speed just all the time. Also has the drums, is just incredibly, incredibly fast pretty much all day long. Chen needs to be really careful pretty much just every single team fight right now.
Dire's top tower is under
And it looks like Crystal Cross doing a little bit of a dance with Leshrac for the win as well. As Nyx right now, Doom not quite off of cooldown, throws out a leap, doesn't happen to land on anybody. Jacob is here. Actually, Timbersaw has picked up a Blink Dagger before pretty much any of his other bigger items now.
Yeah, I was just about to tell you about that. Now that's their initiation right there, the Blinking Timbersaw. Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of it. Now you have two options to invest in, not just a Doom, but a Timbersaw on top, and then you just jump into a fight, infest bomb, boom. That's a lot of damage as well. I mean, especially if you look at the heroes from DGC, they're not very tanky. The two supports, 720 HP on the Lich. Oh wow, okay, 910 HP on the Crystal Maiden, which isn't too bad. But yeah, it's all sub 1k HP.
Yeah, and for an infested Timbersaw, I mean, that is pretty much just a hot knife, going to be able to go through butter. And now it looks like we just have Shad going a little tit for tat, or at least wants to, with Hoda. And Viper, of course, one of those heroes that does very nicely against Lifestealer, throws out the Viper Strike, and you can just kite him around all day long. And it looks like what I thought DGC was going to have easy. Now the Infest and Doom Bomb coming out. It looks like Doom immediately getting Frostbitten, and so far Crystal Maiden, just being the sacrificial lamb, pops the ult as well, trying to slow everybody down. Slark will be able to get out of here with his life, it would seem. We still have Doom running him down. Timbersaw trying to catch him out. Can't quite get there in time, and the Chakram flies, lands on nothing. Crystal Cross now trying really hard, it looks like, to find somebody, anybody out of position, and instead is just going to be able to run away. Get away scot-free. Still really badly wants his BKB. Not too sure why. More likely than not, just to avoid that Timbersaw damage, though.
Yep, and Chen is at bottom playing hide and seek with the Viper. Oh, now this is actually a pretty good combination. Maybe not the Furball, not the Hellbear Smasher, but yeah, having the Troll, Dark Troll Warlord and the Centaur. That's a good combination for ganks as well as team fights. And pushes.
Oh yeah, and now it looks like we have Plague Wards being a little obnoxious in the top lane. Phoenix trying to de-ward them as best he can, and really, as soon as Lich gets up, maybe to level 11, they DGC maybe trying to take another team fight with that bigger Chain Frost available. Still though, I mean, they have Chain Frost, they have everything they need to start pushing in and try and making some fights happen, but I'm not even sure if they're really capable of it. The difference in gold still only at like 500 at 22 minutes in. Difference in experience drastically in favor of DGC, however. It just doesn't feel like they are commanding this game, however.
Yeah, I think both teams are not... They're both just... One team, Decerto, it just feels like they can't commit to a push, and DGC, it feels like they're just playing reactionary Dota. Whenever you push my tower, I'll go and defend. But now we have a huge wraparound, and this is a great time to do a wraparound.
And can Leshrac for the win actually get out of there in time? Can't quite do it, gets bursted down a little bit too quickly.
I'll be looking at this.
Looks like Decerto Ozone. I'm gonna say that it didn't proc it. I don't think he had any.
It didn't.
Ha, you owe me a rare.
Alright, you're getting another player card.
No, come
Last time
on.
it was S4. This time I'll give you Bulldog.
What are you doing to me? Come on. And while that's actually happening, Decerto, realizing that everybody on DGC is up top for that push, or at least most of them, they're deciding just to take an easy little Roche for their troubles. And it looks like DGC know it as well. In they run, streaming in. That Lich just wants to be at the forefront, get at least a Chain Frost off, and they're just not sure how low this Roshan is. This could go incredibly pear-shaped for Decerto. They, at the very least, get the kill, but in runs Perez with a beautiful Crystal Maiden ult, hitting a ton of them. Chain Frost now bouncing, not the best RNG in the world, but an Aegis does indeed pop. Doom able to get out of here alive, and now it looks like there is no Infest, but he can, of course, Rage TP to get out of there, and it looks like getting away fairly scot-free, so I mean, I would even give that still slightly in favor of Decerto. They get the Roshan at the very least. All they lose is the Chen, not the end of the world.
They lost the Aegis as well, though.
Yeah, but it's kind of moot. It's just,
I don't know.
you know. They still got
True.
the Roshan.
Free gold.
Exactly.
Free gold, free experience. Well, not so free for the Chen, but yeah. And now with the Frost armor on top, it's even harder for a Lifestealer to do the damage necessary.
Oh yeah, and there's the Exorcism being used, just trying to push down these towers pretty much as quick as possible, as quick as can be. Always a fortification available to try and guarantee that deny. Now it looks like Jacob getting in there. Viper Strike was on him, still was able to blink in there, melts immediately, just too much damage from these Exorcisms. A leg, those spirits not coming back in time to finish him off, and Nyx, realizing he's a little bit too deep, does indeed TP out of there. No Frostbite to stop that one, and DGC just having a banner year on this bot lane, getting that tower, getting a few kills for their troubles, 3 indeed, and looks like they want to keep up this push as well.
Yeah, and they definitely can keep up the push. Their only casualty was the Corvus. That was the main pusher. And can I just say that Corvus is Exorcism, right? They are just beautiful.
You mean visually pleasing, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
course.
no, that's a really nice little cosmetic there, I have to say as well. But I mean, pretty nice. Hota, doing his very best, has actually finished up his Desolator, so he will be able to start pouring on quite a bit of damage, and especially if he wants to tunnel vision into any of the supports, he'll be able to do it. And it looks like he's actually has seen a shot, but with Viper Strike, it's, at least in my experience, pretty much impossible to actually take down a Viper if you're a single little lifestealer.
Ooh, yeah, I mean, just using that Viper Strike, you can just walk away, essentially. Or even turn around and kill the Lifestealer. It's kind of interesting, the more I look at these two lineups, right? It's just like, both teams don't really value lockdowns that much. And now we even have a Lincoln Sphere on Crobolus.
Oh yeah, realizing that they're really, I mean, just scared of being doomed more likely than not, and because that's really the only thing I can think of for that Lincoln's. If you can get the level def off, obviously, though, it's just going to stop that immediately. But, I mean, Lincoln's kind of an odd pickup, it looks like. But, obviously, now, an extra little bit of, what am I going for, of skill cap with that Lincoln's. He can just pop it onto Slark, make sure he doesn't get doomed. While that's happening, Timbersaw and Hota, as well as Leshrak, actually find a kill on Viper. I'm sorry I missed that, everybody. My bad.
I caught that. Viper tried to TP out as soon as he saw three guys with no stuns. But then a DD rune on the Timbersaw, as well as having the Desolator on the Lifestealer. That was just too much damage.
Crystal Cross with a weird pounce, doesn't really matter. And it looks like that silence actually not working on Hota. And it doesn't matter though, once again, Lich
beautiful.
using that mini stun to guarantee that Hota not getting out of this one alive. Gets a couple of nice bounces. Perez just happens to throw down the ult because he wants to. No other reason really. And while that's happening though, like we've said this over and over, Decerto never giving anything up for free. They lose a lifestealer, they take a tower.
Dire's bottom tower has
That's a great time to push though. Maybe even group up for a tier 4 push. I mean tier 3 push. Because DGC, they just used the Crystal Maiden ultimate as well as the Lich's ultimate. Perhaps that would have been the best time they could have pushed. Might be a little hard, but
I think just waiting for Amazing to finish off that mech and get his recipe in his hands. Not to mention let Doom finish off that Shivas, which he just had. So I mean, gonna be harder and harder to take down now by DGC. Because, I mean, this armor should be helping against Exorcism, which I feel has been melting this Doom quite nicely.
Yeah, and if he manages to pick up one of those Frost Ogre Mage.
Yeah. Is it Frost Ogre Mage?
Ogre Frost Mage.
Ogre Frost Mage, that's right.
Ogre Frost Mage. Yeah. The new names, man, they're still confusing me, even after like years of Dota 2.
Oh yeah, I mean not only that, especially where if you do happen to be casting something like what am I going for? A replay, so many times the names get completely screwed over and really weird.
Yeah, because I mean, like, usually we just call it, like, the Blue Fatty, or something like that. No one really calls him, like, Ogre Frost Mage.
Yeah, no, it's kind of a recent invention. Right now it looks like Perez Dota gonna be trying to ward, and he's just gonna get caught out entirely. So a nice little pick-off, and surprised by how long he's actually living. Will eventually fall, though, but still stalling out that death quite nicely. And with that, it looks like Decerto, they know that that Crystal Maiden is down, at least for a little while. They're going to want to try and push in, take this tier 2, and get all the more map control they possibly can.
I just had the weirdest thought, you know? Like, in that scenario where Crystal Maiden knew she was going to die, I think I would have popped out a taunt, you know? Just do the Snow Angel.
Oh, yeah,
and just recognize, hey, there's no way you can get away.
There's sometimes when you just need to say, you know what, I'm dead, and you don't even try to run. You just basically stand there and wait for the inevitable. But I mean, now Crystal Cross, he's picked up a basher, I should say, and this is when you kind of actually do need to be a little bit scared of Slark. He can just tunnel vision even onto the biggest guys, and with Essence Shift, it can be very, very scary. Amazing now in a little bit of a scary spot as well. Can always TP out of here, and it looks like he will be able to. Nobody able to see him, and of course no lockdowns except for the Crystal Maiden or maybe the Lich, who could take him out or at least stall that TP.
Yep, and now Venomancer is just saving the top DD rune for his teammates, so should Timbersaw or Doom or even Lifestealer, one of them can go and pick it up and make things happen. I mean, it'd be a great time for Doom to pass his bottle to Lifestealer and just have Lifestealer pick up.
Now we have Doom,
wow, this is a little
getting
dangerous.
frostbitten, getting cycloned as well. There's the Exorcism, and just look at how quickly he is melting. Does get a quick little Doom off on Shad, but that's A-okay. And Hota now, not sure what he's doing here. Instead, just decides to wait it out. Doesn't have a TP to get out of there. Doesn't have a Rage to guarantee that that happens as well. And not even sure it would have. Phoenix has been right on it with those Chain Frosts, trying to make sure that that mini stun that accompanies it always guarantees that Hota does not get away. And it looks like Alleg, trying to make as much use out of this Exorcism as possible, runs straight in. Leshrac has used the DD and needs to be a little careful here. Does have a double damage rune, but I mean, Alleg pretty much always going to win that fight, I feel.
Yeah, it was unfortunate that they got picked off at top, and now DGC, they're just going to start making a move at mid. Roshan is actually almost out as well. Maybe they should have scouted that out with, say, the Courier, since the Courier is already at mid. But yeah, I would love to see a DD. I think DD Room is so game-changing in the late game if used correctly. Like, Doom can always pass a bottle to Lifestealer. Lifestealer can pick it up at some point and then take on the fight. They can no longer use the Lifestealer bomb with Doom though. I think it's a little too difficult because DGC, they're always pushing with sentries. As soon as Doom came back out, they dropped the sentry. So yeah, they have to use the Timbersaw to engage.
Well, no, they're doing the Lifestealer bomb right now, though, and in runs it in. It works A-okay. Perez now. Nice Force Staff of Phoenix getting out of there. Viper Strike on to not sure who exactly. There it is indeed on Hota. A beautiful Chain Frost. Quite a few bounces. Oh, the Chen creeps not panning out for them. And it looks like Slark having a field day now. Trying to use that Basher has been doomed. Is going to be melting, though. That Jacob getting in there right on time. And Alleg's Exorcism. It actually, that Sentry Ward doing a huge amount of work for them, finding the Doom caught out. Jacob just trying his very best to try and take down Alleg, and can he actually do it? It looks like Exorcism still able to pick him off.
It did.
A nice silent. Was it proccing it?
Yes. No chess, no player cards.
Oh, we'll see about that, Mito. I'll have something that's probably useless. I know, okay, I know what you're getting. You're getting a polymorph rare recipe. That's neither of those things.
Huh? Getting a
get-
what recipe?
You're getting a recipe that trades 3 rares in for a single rare.
Oh yeah, sweet. I love that.
Well, there, you can have that. I don't use those.
All right.
All right,
I'll
so
sell it to my cousin.
there you go, everybody. It looks like was it reactive armor does get procced by exorcism, and if you happen to know differently or you think Mito's a liar, please let me know.
Actually, I'm not sure if it was the creeps.
Well, this is gonna have to take some experimenting. If anybody happens to know, just please tell us in chat. Mito has been looking at that pretty much all game, and Oleg now has a haste rune right in his sights, and it looks like he's just trying to see if he can make as much use of this as possible, just trying to save it so that they can guarantee that they get this Roshan kill. And it looks like Crystal Cross has picked up a Yasha, so he's gonna be moving around like a race car, and has his BKB as well. So I mean, what can Decerto do right now to try and stop this Roshan? Maybe get a nice Doom, and they
they're
are
going in,
indeed trying to
smoked
go
up.
in for it. I'm not sure if I would rather have that infest onto Jacob, I think, with the Blink Dagger. And now there's the Exorcism being used right away. Oleg trying to make a little bit of space between him, but a beautiful Chain Frost. Roshan being the nice bounce companion there actually falls to the Radiant, not the Dire. So Decerto doing A-okay there. Perez just trying to throw down the ult as well. And Hota gonna be falling right now for his troubles. Shad actually picking up the Aegis that time. And it looks like Decerto getting absolutely creamed now. A full team wipe. DGC not quite able to get the Roche kill. Went the way of Decerto, but coming out way ahead there.
Yeah, the goal graph is heavily in favor of the Die team, DGC. The XP graph, wow, it's already well over 20,000. So yeah,
Oh yeah, it's
it's
getting up
gonna
there.
be pretty tough.
And right now, it really just seems like unless you can get a Silence or Doom on a leg coming out early in that team fight, they just don't really have enough burst or a way to actually keep him tracked down. Like, they can't, there's no stuns available to guarantee that Lifestealer can basically just right-click a leg down really quickly, and they don't seem to really have a way to deal with the constant and huge damage that Exorcism is pouring out. And Oleg actually finds a double damage rune, has finished off his Sheep Stick, and is just going to be a huge, huge problem for Decerto right now.
Yeah, and Viper's got a Soul Cuirass as well. And it looks like they will be able to chase down the Crystal Maiden. Crystal
In
Maiden.
runs a leg,
Wow, but that
Exorcism
Hex.
almost available, and Nyx just melting. Shad turning things around. There's a mechanism as well. Jacob, can you get out of there? That Viper's slow, just tremendous. And with that, I mean, Decerto gonna have to be pulling out some amazing plays right now to stop this push. Exorcism is gonna be available right now, and that tower already down. This is gonna be at least one lane of racks. There's double damage, and they do properly doom a leg, however. Hota right on top of him. Things doing very nice. At the very least, getting one lane of racks. A beautiful chain, though. It's going to be bouncing all day long. Chen having the worst time right now. And is the RNG with him? He actually doesn't die. Jacob, though, it is streaming, chasing after him. Does actually finish him off. And Leshrak for the win, going to be falling as well. And with that, DGC, how is the buybacks available for the Radiant? You have Hota, you have Venomancer. So, I mean, this has got to be 2 lanes, maybe even 3 lanes, maybe even the GG.
In the meantime, I just gotta give you a quick update. So first of all, a shout out to Bronze, and secondly, we have answers from Valkyrian. So the ultimate answer for Crovolus against reactive armor is no, it does not proc. It only procs on hero attacks and not hero abilities.
Radiant's middle barracks are
Well, there you go. I think that then you owe me a little something, something, my friend.
Radiant's
Player cards.
Oh, come on. I was going to give you a...
Who do you want this
I was
time?
going to give you a horrible recipe.
I'll give you any team. So you're an Alliance fanboy, right?
Oh, you better believe it.
If I remember correctly. Yeah, sweet. Then I'll give you the entire team.
Just give me that Doom helmet
fill in your
you were going to give me
compendium.
anyway, and I'll be happy with that.
But I love my Doom.
No, you hate that helmet, though.
Oh, you're talking about the one that reminds you of an elephant.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. The one you don't like.
Alright.
Just give me that. You're going to give it to me anyway.
But I love elephants.
So, I mean, right now, obviously, let's look at the gold graph. 12,000 in favor of DGC. They've just been pulling out way ahead, basically since the 20 or so minute mark. Experience-wise, up to 30,000, not quite hitting that fabled 40,000, which me and Mito saw, I think, about a week ago. But still, incredibly huge as far as that difference is. And it looks now like DGC, they're just trying to go in and make that final push happen. They're going to have Exorcism up, not to mention they've just finished an Assault Cuirass on Shad, excuse me, and an Abyssal now on Slark to really deal with anything that Hota, this Lifestealer, can throw at them. And it really just seems like a matter of time. But now, looks like a nice little bit of work going in there. Chain bouncing all day long, however. The Exorcism just doing too much work, and there's just nothing that Decerto can do right now. And there's the GG coming out of him. So it does indeed look like DGC gonna be our weekly series at least one of the finalists.
Wow, that was a great game. Yeah, I'm happy that we found out, we learned a little bit more through this game. You know, Timbersaw versus Crubbulus. But do you ever figure out whether the Timber Chain works through Pounce?
No, I'm not actually sure if we did, and I guess that'll be something to watch out for in the coming games, in the coming weeks of the ESPL series, which of course, hosted by Eat, Sleep, Play Gaming. I have been Briefcase, bringing you this semi-final of it, as well as my lovely co-caster Mito. There should be, I don't know, a little bit of a break coming up. Last one was really short. The one before that was really long, and we should be having the finals coming up shortly, so stay tuned, everybody.